everyone. Welcome to day 2 of our 5-day challenge of mini gratitude art journals. Today, we will be exploring the painting technique of sponging with your household sponge. All you need is a sponge, some paint, and we are going to sponge to our heart's desires and make beautiful backgrounds for today's mini journal. So, come with me. Okay, for today's challenge, we are doing the sponging technique. It's a painting technique where we're using a household sponge, right? So this is using a found object where we can get untraditional marks, and the sponge gives amazing marks. These are some of my used sponges, so I can use this as well, but it will have a different effect because the paint is in there and it's a little hard. It gives lovely effects as well, but I want to show you what a new one looks like. And so you can cut it down because I find that kind of big for me to be using like that, and sometimes I cut it even lower, but I would just go like this. So I'll probably just use that. Sometimes I cut it again so I get smaller shapes. Depending on how you cut it and the angles that you get, you will receive certain types of shapes if you're stamping a shape of whatever that is. So it all depends on what kind of effect you want to get. Okay, I don't think I said yesterday, but any kind of paper that you have, I'm using my sketchbook paper, 8.5 by 11 inches. You can use copy paper, etc., because we're not putting anything too heavy on it. We're not putting a lot of water. And so I'm going to go on with this. I'm going to show you how you're going to do the stamping effect. Very straightforward, very easy, as you can see. Yesterday I used cool colors, so I'm using some fiery hot colors here, and I'm just going to go in. I like to go in with the darker colors first. Yesterday I did the lighter colors first. Here is because the lighter hues, look at that, oh my gosh, the lighter hues sit nicely on top. Now every time I do this I get a different effect, and I also want to say that I do this sometimes on painted paper. So I would paint the background, let it dry, and then stamp on top. Beautiful, look at that. Okay, all these fiery colors. I have a little, and I don't mind leaving some of that white peeking through. Let me dip into my white over here. Beautiful effect. Very different than if I use the old sponge, which still gives me a beautiful effect. But I haven't used an old sponge in a long time, so that's why I'm using this new sponge. I haven't used what I meant was I haven't used the new sponge in a long time. So I forgot what a different effect I'm getting here. And so I'm very pleased with this. Look at that. Depending on how you press down, you get different marks, you get different shapes. I like that. Okay, that's it. That is it. Look at that. My stamping effect. Look at that texture. Wow, visual texture, beautiful. The one we did yesterday, we did the dry brush effect, and that was texture as well, a different type. So this is a beautiful texture that we can now go and make a lovely book from, our journals. Let me just show you quickly some of the journals I did with this same sponging effect, which is like a stamping effect. Now on this one, I painted the background orange, almost like a peachy color. Let me open it out. Then when it was dry, then I went in with yellows. Look at that. Right? Same technique, different effects. Here's another one. And this one I didn't finish the whole page. Oh, I think I glued that one down. But so when I made the book, I got some pieces with white so I can journal through it, right? You don't have to fill the entire thing. Interesting. Okay. So let this dry and then we're gonna come back. Okay, so here we have our sponged paper and we're going to make the journal now. So you remember the steps from yesterday? We have the painted side looking up to us. Turn it over. Fold in half. It's horizontal. Fold in half. Okay, turn it vertical. Fold toward you in half. While you're here, fold back on itself. Flip, fold back on itself. You would soon get the hang of it. You should always have like a W, right? At this point, we have the crease here. This, you'll always have to remember this crease. This is where you cut. So look carefully for where it is, or you can draw on it. That's why I did that again. So let me see where that crease is. And go right up, boom, to the middle. Stop right there. Okay, so you have your W. Turn it this way. For me, it's easier to pinch it and bring it down. Pinch it all together. This doesn't line up right there because I think I didn't cut right on the edge. You have to be careful with that, especially when it's a painted background. You don't always see that crease. So it'll be good for you to mark it with a pencil or something and then cut on that line. And then you can decide which is top or bottom. And there you have your little book. Beautiful backgrounds, beautiful sponged backgrounds. And then you take it to the next level by adding different embellishments. I kind of like how that looks, right? So I'm gonna have fun with these. I have lots of I think I'm gonna do a lot of florals. I'm gonna do some of my paint pens, some of my stamps. I have floral stamps as well. You can stamp it with the black. But let me show you one that I've done so you can get a feel. I had a piece of paper that I cut in a circle. It had a stencil on it. And then these are petals. These are washi tape petals. And you just peel them off. And I just stuck them one at a time, over and over again, overlapping. I had an Inspire stamp, magazine paper. I just cut it right there, and then I took my paint pen and I continued. I like to just expand on a subject, or expand on a cutout from a magazine or a sticker or something. Again, stamps. I stamped it in my black archival ink pad, but if you don't have that, you can just stamp it right into black paint. Give the same effect. Again, magazine paper. I love using the magazine paper. You can cut out shapes. You can cut out shapes that are already there, or cut shapes into what you want. Same magazine page from here, repeating itself. And then I had the stamp going all through. Another stamp, which is actually this one. And that's just the beginning, because now I'm going to decorate even more with my paint pens. I'm going to write some words, all of that. It's really, this part is really up to you. I can't teach you this part. This is the part I'm teaching you with the painted techniques. So the first technique, you remember what we did? We did the dry brush technique. And I showed you this one. This is the one I did yesterday. After we ended, I went and doodled and have fun with this one. And this is the paint, the dry brush effect. Look at those dry brush textured paintbrush marks. I allow more. This was my quote, my positive affirmation. So I allow more love into my life. I have heart washi stickers, dragonfly sticker. I'm still doing stuff, you know. You don't have to finish all at once. You get inspiration, you come back. You know, you have something, you put it down, you leave it, you come back. I hardly ever go from beginning to end. Many times I do when I'm making a video for you, but many times when I have all these books, it's just so much fun to just pick one and just do a little something today, do a little something tomorrow. And that's how you're able to continue your art practice and not feel like it has to be this amazing finished product. Okay, so these two were the dry brush effect. I'm putting that aside. And this one I showed you that it was the example I did with the sponging, okay? This is the sponging one that I did today. And I'm going to now embellish and put different elements in it. I like how it's a very different feel. Remember I showed you it's a very different feel. How you use, what kind of sponge you use, how big the sponge is, if it has an edge on it, if you paint the background first or if you have the white coming through. This one had a peach background and then I did the red and yellow and white on top. This had the white background, so you can see that. Okay, and I also told you these flaps, you can leave it because I said, I was boasting that it was one page, no sew, no glue. You don't have to glue it, but these pages here, sometimes it's nice if you just kind of glue it down. Or yesterday I showed you that you can partially glue it and then allow it to have a pocket. So then you can put a little tag in there. Okay, some areas you can have the pocket, some areas you can decide to glue it right down. If areas are overlapping or it's not even, that's fine. Trim it off. Trim it off, get it even. Get the book the way you want it. I think I'm going to close up these. Other ones I want the pocket in there. This one I'm just going to close it up because it was uneven. And then I can just, you know, keep going. Okay? All right. And that's it. See you tomorrow.